Light bulb. Hi, and welcome back to Light Bulb Coach. Today we're discussing book number 8 on my list, and that is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. In my opinion, a good way of being a leader and finding out what kind of leader you want to be or what kind of leader you don't want to be is to learn from other leaders. And a good way of doing that is look back in history. And that's what this book does. It is an interesting title because it's on the word power, and there are different connotations with power, obviously. Robert Greene is a very interesting author. But what I love about this book is that he actually takes history, real history, and shows how his ideas of these laws of power have been either observed or how they have been transgressed. And man, I couldn't put this book down, and it's a big, thick book with small writing. So this book is ideal for people who like to read and people who like history, and it's going to give you some really deep insight on how people think. One of my favorite laws of his is law number 34, and that is be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. And sometimes as leaders, we always don't know our boundaries, and sometimes we shrink, or sometimes we fade into the background because we don't know exactly where we stand with people, and sometimes we're not always sure of ourselves. And that's not always a great thing. We need to be strong. But how do we get to that point of strength? Well, if you act like Law 34, which I call the power of the crown, you would observe it like Christopher Columbus did, and he tells about that story of Christopher Columbus, where Christopher Columbus came from actually lowly backgrounds, but he acted like he came from an aristocratic background and connected with the aristocrats of his time, and finally got noticed by Queen Isabella, and she actually ended up funding his trips across the ocean, and he became known as discoverer of North America. So, and the rest is history. Wear the crown and wear it appropriately, and you might win. All that's in this book, and lots more. So, if you like history and you need some new ideas on maybe using your power effectively, check this book out. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Enjoy.